3:42 p.m. local time, September 17, 2025, in the Taiwan Strait. A Chinese Type 052D destroyer turns hard. Not in parallel, not passive. It's coming straight for the USS Higgins, a U.S. Navy Arleigh Burke-class destroyer running a legal freedom of navigation patrol just east of the Taiwan median line. It doesn't broadcast its intent. It doesn't need to. From the Combat Information Center, a voice cuts through. Contact altering course. CPA under 200 yards. That's nothing. 200 yards between warships at sea. You're already in danger. The Higgins tries to raise the Chinese ship over bridge to bridge. English first, then Mandarin. Nothing. The destroyer keeps coming. Bow aim directly at the Higgins, closing in at over 25 knots. That's 29 miles per hour in a 7,500-ton hull designed to kill submarines, shoot down missiles, and ram enemy vessels if ordered to. The Higgins Spy-6 radar tracks everything. Heading, acceleration, angle, but it's not a radar signal that alarms the bridge crew. It's the silence. No warning, no contact, no margin. This isn't shadowing. This isn't a coincidence. This is China testing how close he can get to the U.S. Navy before something breaks. And if the test goes wrong, it won't be a drill. It'll be international news. Because in these waters, when steel meets steel at combat distance, there's no such thing as harmless pass. At 3:43 p.m., the radar confirms it. The Chinese destroyer isn't just approaching, it's accelerating. Spy-6 data shows a speed jump from 21 to 25.4 knots in under 30 seconds. That's not patrolling speed. That's combat intercept speed. Not a drift in heading, but a vector shift aimed straight at the USS Higgins starboard bow. The bridge calls it out. CPA down to 185 yards. It's time to CPA 2 minutes. CPA, closest point of approach. If that number hits 0, it means collision. At this rate, there's no room for even one bad assumption. Bridgetto Bridge goes out again. Clear, firm, measured. Unidentified Chinese naval vessel. This is the United States warship conducting lawful transit. Alter course immediately. No response. They try again, this time in Mandarin. Still nothing. Inside the Higgins, it's calm, but very electric. Everyone knows what this means. The maneuver is deliberate, and in naval terms, silence is not confusion, it's defiance. Command in CIC tags the vessel. Track 0052 designation Type 052D Luoyang 3 PRC Navy. The Type 052D is no slouch. With HHQ-9 surface-to-air missiles, 130mm deck gun, anti-ship YJ-18S, and full combat radar suites. It's considered China's workhorse destroyer, more than capable of challenging U.S. ships, especially in close quarters. But the Higgins isn't backing down either. Her 5 gun slews slightly, just enough for the other ship to see it move. The crew didn't load it. They didn't need to. The gesture speaks louder. The CIC logs every second, every heading, every change in acceleration. The USS Higgins is holding course. No evasive moves. Not yet. Because if they flinch now, they lose the narrative. And worse, they set the precedent. This isn't just ship versus ship. This is China betting that the US won't risk escalation. And Higgins, she's calling that bluff, one radar ping at a time. At 3:44 p.m., the Higgins crosses a line, not physically, but procedurally. The Combat Information Center confirms the threat profile. Trajectory remains intercept. No deviation, no radio contact. This is intentional. The crew doesn't wait for permission. They follow protocol. Every U.S. Navy destroyer operates under strict rules of engagement, or ROE. These aren't just guidelines. They're legal boundaries for force. Step 1. Log everything. The fire control radar snapshots the Chinese ship's heading, bearing, and angle of approach every 10 seconds. Bridge logs are time-stamped. Voice recordings saved. Radar frames frozen. If this turns into an incident, the U.S. will need more than just a statement. It will need proof. Step 2. Posture without provocation. The Higgins Mark 45 5" gun visibly rotates toward the oncoming vessel slowly, deliberately. It's the kind of movement that's unmistakable without being hostile. Step 3. Activate non-kinetic systems. The SLQ-32V7 electronic warfare suite kicks in. Its job to detect and analyze radar emissions. Seconds later, the system flags a narrowband surface search signal. Frequency and pulse width confirm it. The Chinese ship is scanning the Higgins. Not just passively observing, but actively targeting. Still no hails, no bridge lights, no bearing change. The Higgins watch officer says what everyone's thinking. They're watching us, but they're not talking to us. Inside the CIC, tension builds, but the discipline holds. No raised voices, no panic, just quiet, efficient motion. Helm control maintains current heading. Engine room holds speed. Fire control plots angles but keeps everything on standby because the next step would be escalation. And nobody wants that. But the message is clear. If China's destroyer takes one more step toward aggression, the Higgins is ready to answer. And right now, both ships are playing a silent, high-stakes game of chicken. Except this one doesn't end with a swerve. It ends with strategy, steel, and someone blinking first. At 3:45 p.m., the next layer of pressure lifts off the deck. The MH-60 or Seahawk tail number Romeo 52 powers up on the aft flight deck of the Higgins, kicking up rotor wash across the stern. No weapons loaded, no overflight planned, just presence. This isn't an attack. This is just a signal. As the Seahawk climbs to 200 feet, its FLIR pod goes active. Forward-looking infrared scans the Chinese ship's upper decks, focusing on the bridge, the exhaust vents, radar mounts, and exposed crew stations. Inside the cockpit, the sensor operator stabilizes the feed. Every heat bloom, every movement, every blinking console gets recorded on the Chinese deck. The crew are now visible. Helmets are on, and at least two figures are standing near the forward gun mount, not aiming, just waiting. The second crew member inside the Seahawk points a camera directly at the destroyer's bridge. The imagery is geotagged, time-stamped, and automatically uplift. China tries to deny what happens next. They'll be facing 4K proof. This is a standoff in high definition, one that doesn't need gunfire to be dangerous. Just the right angle, the right altitude, and the right message. At 3:46 p.m., the most dangerous thing happens. Nothing. The Chinese destroyer doesn't slow down. It doesn't alter course. Doesn't answer calls. Its bridge window reflects sunlight. No visible signals, no flashing lights, not even a wave. On the deck, the two crew members stand motionless near the Type HPJ-38 130mm naval gun. They're not manning it yet, but the covers are off. Back aboard the Higgins, command faces a decision. Do we hold position and shadow, or do we shift course and push through? Shadowing means staying alongside, less aggressive, but it invites continued pressure. Pushing through means staying on course regardless of the threat. It signals strength, but increases risk. Inside the CIC, a decision matrix lights up. Every outcome gets considered. Collision risk high, escalation moderate, legal justification strong. Because right now the U.S. Navy ship is in international waters, 18.4 nautical miles from the nearest claimed baseline. Every move being made is 100% within maritime law. And yet the Chinese ship continues its silent intercept. The Seahawk holds overhead, circling slowly. Its infrared sensors catch small movements. Engine room crew bracing. Starboard rail watchers shifting stance inside the Higgins. Silence stretches. No alarms, no sirens, just the steady hum of electronics and the growing tension with every glance. Then the CIC calls out again. Contact. Steady bearing CPA under 150 yards. 1 minute to intersect. There's no turning back now. The Higgins either holds her ground or sets a precedent. The U.S. Navy won't like. This is no longer just a close pass. This is a chess match at 30 knots. And right now, everyone's waiting for the next move. At 3:47 p.m., the Chinese destroyer blinks. Its bow shifts barely. The turn is subtle, less than 5 degrees starboard, but it's enough. Enough to avoid a direct intercept. Enough to register on radar. Enough to show that they've done the math. From 26 knots, the speed drops to 23, then 21, then holds. The message is clear. They want this to look close, not catastrophic. Seconds later, the bridge speakers crackle. A voice filtered flat in Mandarin. U.S. Navy vessel, you are approaching in a Chinese-administered maritime zone. Alter your course immediately. The accent is formal. No emotion, no threat, just the message Beijing wants on tape. The Higgins responds immediately. Calm, clipped, broadcast right out in the open. This is United States warship conducting legal passage in international waters. Unsafe maneuvers are being documented and reported. Translation: we're not leaving and we're not afraid of your paperwork. The Seahawk still overhead captures every word, every angle, every radar pulse. On the Chinese ship, the deck crew move back from the main gun. One sailor waves toward the Higgins, arms wide, palms forward, a maritime gesture meaning, we're done here. But they're not retreating. They're just repositioning, slowing the tempo, stretching out the tension. Both ships remain on radar. Both maintain full readiness. But the imminent danger, that's passing. This isn't surrender. This is performance. A carefully choreographed act for domestic audiences, global observers, and anyone watching the satellite feeds. And the Higgins, she holds course, still armed, still recording, still waiting. Because in this part of the world, one maneuver isn't the end. It's just the first move in something much bigger. What happened in the Taiwan Strait wasn't just a close pass. It was the latest move in a long, calculated campaign. For months, China has been testing boundaries, both literally and diplomatically, shadowing U.S. Navy patrols, harassing Japanese destroyers, forcing Australian aircraft to take evasive action in the South China Sea, the East China Sea, and now the Taiwan Strait. The pattern is clear. Get close. Push hard. Make it look legal. The idea is simple. We're down the West response. Turn aggressive moves into routine encounters so that when the real crisis begins, no one's sure what the red line is anymore. This isn't just a hunch. It's documented strategy. China's naval doctrine increasingly leans on gray zone tactics. Military actions just below the threshold of war designed to confuse, delay, and control escalation. No gunfire, just proximity and pressure. And they're getting bolder. In August 2025, a British destroyer HMS Richmond sailing near the Spratly Islands was cut off by a Chinese frigate in near-identical fashion. Cameras on board caught it all. The turn, the silence, and the message. And the month before that, a Japanese P-1 maritime patrol aircraft was forced to divert after being buzzed by a Chinese J-11 fighter jet in international airspace near the Skaku Islands. Tokyo filed a formal protest. Beijing ignored it. The U.S. Navy knows this pattern. That's why every ship like the Higgins sails with surveillance gear, legal teams on standby, and helicopters equipped with 4K cameras and electronic sniffers. Because this isn't just about defending sea lanes, it's about defending narratives. If the U.S. can prove it followed international law, it wins the diplomatic war. If China can provoke a misstep on camera, they get their soundbite. So, no, what happened in the Taiwan Strait wasn't an accident. It was calibrated pressure play. And this time, both sides walked away. But here's the question for you. Should the U.S. start pushing back harder during these encounters, or staying calm, the smarter long game? Let us know in the comments. We read everyone. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown of real-world naval pressure tactics, hit like and subscribe to stay updated. And if you want to go a step further, join the fleet. You'll get loyalty badges, priority replies, and you'll help us surface more true maritime stories just like this one. Just head on over to our channel page and click join and get on board. And remember, if you're going to play chicken with a U.S. Navy destroyer, you better bring something bigger than bad vibes and silence. See you in the next one.